Hello friends, I am going to do a fun, hopefully, reading vlog for you. I am reading The Shining by Stephen King. I have been wanting to read this for so long. I've seen the movie, but it was in college, which was a long time ago. And I remember liking it, but I don't remember the details. So I'm super pumped to get into this book. And it's the perfect time of year. We are mid-October and the leaves are almost peak here. And I'm actually going to take you to our cabin. We're going up north to close it down for the summer. And I hope the leaves won't be past peak up there. We're going to go to Itasca State Park, which is beautiful. If you've never been there, you have to put that on your bucket list. It's where the Mississippi River starts. And so hopefully I can show you some fun colors as I read through this classic King book. This shirt, The Shining has nothing to do with witches, but it is kind of a Halloween vlog. Witch, please. Okay, I am actually a good ways in, 150 pages into The Shining. And I have to say, I am loving it so far. I am along for the ride. Jack Torrance and his family, consisting of his wife and their adorable son named Danny, who's 5 years old, who's a huge character in this book. They have been having issues in their family. Jack is an alcoholic. He is sober, but I think newly sober, a few months maybe. And he lost his job as a result of his anger. And this new opportunity comes up for his family where they're gonna move to this secluded hotel in Colorado for the winter, and they will be paid to kind of just caretake the hotel. Everything will be closed off. The roads will be closed. The phone lines go out, I think, because it's just so cold and this place is secluded. And so they're gonna be just stuck and snowed in for several months. And so that's where we are now. They are there at the hotel and it's beautiful. It's fall right now. And we're just kind of anticipating how things are going to change once the snow comes. I have to say, it has been interesting to read this in the wake of COVID. Just the seclusion element is reminding me of those months in early March and April where we kind of secluded and kept to ourselves. And some people found that idea very romantic and some people were freaked out by it. And once it actually happened, I think opinions changed. And I think so far this family is just kind of excited for this family time, this intentional family time. But some things are happening where we're starting to get a little bit scared as we anticipate the winter season and just being stuck. And yeah, the vibes in here are great. I'm gonna read some more. Norma's napping, and I'm just gonna try to get as much read as I can until she wakes up. I had a terrible transition. So in the next scene, I am at the cabin. Norma and I drove up alone and we're just waiting for Phil and James to join us. Okay, excuse the terrible lighting. I just got Norma down and Phil and James will be up here, I don't know, half an hour. We have reached a turning point. I have heard a lot of people complain and critique this book for racial slurs and racist comments, and I didn't really look too much into it. I just wanted to read it for myself. And you know, King has had lots of books with racial slurs in them. And from what I have read, it's definitely stood out to me, but it made sense to me for the character. Like, yeah, that character would say that. This is not that. A random character. Now, I'm not done with it yet, but I'm pretty sure the person who said these horrible things is not significant in this story. And I don't understand why he had to say awful, awful things. I don't know. It just literally took away from the story because I just feel gross. So maybe it's time to put the book put the book away and start again tomorrow. Man, it's unfortunate because I was just loving this, and then I got there and it's just distracting. Ugh. Yuck. Okay. I picked it up again and I'm just getting so freaked out. I swore I saw a flash of light out the window. I don't know. I'm like hearing things. Phil needs to get here. Here are some fun scenes from the next day. We went to Itasca State Park. Again, you should totally put that on your bucket list. It is beautiful, and the fall colors were perfection. We are back from the cabin. I don't know if I mentioned this, but it was Phil's and my 11th wedding anniversary while we were up there. So we went to town and he bought me some books. So fun. So I thought I would do a little book haul. This one is not from Phil or the bookstore. My sister-in-law left this up at the cabin and she said I could take it. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste. I don't know how to say her last name. Nig? It's Ng. I don't know anything about this except that it's super popular. And I think a show, or maybe a movie, a show with Reese Witherspoon. And this was part of Reese Witherspoon's book club. I think it's historical fiction. I don't know. I'm really excited. Okay, the next three are Stephen King's, and let's see. The first two were used copies that we found, which is super exciting. This one, I'm very excited because this is something that I put on my 21 books I want to read in 2021, and I haven't gotten to it yet, and now I own it. This is Revival, and this book has spiritual and religious themes, which I love in a horror novel, and that's pretty much all I know, and I'm pretty much invested. Okay, this used one I'm very excited about. The cover is perfection. I think this is a first edition cover. How amazing. Dolores Claiborne. I really don't know anything about this one either. I'm pretty sure this is a movie and Kathy Bates played the main character, who also plays the main character in Misery, or one of the two main characters. Phil's seen the movie and he loved it, so he was excited for me to read this, and he might read it if I give him the thumbs up. And then lastly, this is a new one. I mean, like a new book. It's not a new book. It's like, you know, the book isn't used. Pet Sematary. I'm extremely excited about this one. I know a lot of people who loved it, who have the same reading taste that I do. And so I'm just like over the moon excited. And I hope to get to this one maybe even next month. And I really like the cover. Have you read any of these? Let me know. And that brings me to the reason why some of us are here, The Shining, the subject of this reading vlog. I finished it and I have like a lot of mixed feelings about this. I loved this up to a certain point. I thought it had such good haunted house vibes. If you love a story about a haunted house, and it was scary. I know I showed that clip up at the cabin of me reading all alone and I was scared. And actually the kids and I came home without Phil from the cabin. He stayed up there a couple days. So I finished this up back at home and I was alone and scared. Like, this is scary and fantastic. And I also love when a physical place, the Overlook Hotel, becomes almost a character in a book. And then the racial stuff got heavy. I don't know. I'm not going to say a lot here. Maybe if people want me to expand on my feelings, I would make a separate video, because I have like a lot of feelings about Stephen King and his use of the N-word and of all of the racist faux pas in his work. So that's the thing. This isn't new. Stephen King uses, we'll just talk about the N-word. He uses that in a lot of books that I have read, and they always make me jump because that's not something that I come across in my day-to-day life. With all the other books, I've been able to get past it because the people who've said it have been horrible people, and I recognize that it's not the author saying these words, it's the character that he's creating. And for the most part, I've seen how using horrible words and being a really bad racist person kind of adds to their horrible character. Like, it's another layer to the cake of their horribleness. This Shining felt different. It felt more excessive. It came from neutral characters' mouths, like an insignificant person saying horribly racist things. I didn't understand the point of that. I didn't understand how that added to this story. And I could be mistaken, but I think even the narrator had some interesting things to say on race. And the narrator was supposed to be, in this case, really neutral. And it was a lot. Okay, hashtag mom life. I got interrupted. But let's wrap up the race conversation, which I've been really just thinking about a lot. But Stephen King is still alive and still putting lots of books out. He has not slowed down. And his career has been a long one. The Shining was written several decades ago. And for instance, this was written much before The Shining, but I was reading, I actually DNF'd this, but I was reading I always want to say frankincense. I was reading Frankenstein, which is obviously very old. The author is no longer with us, and there are racist and more so sexist things in here, and it just kind of rolls off my back because it's a product of its time. And Stephen King's books are a product of their time. And I think we might be a little harsher, and I think we should be harsh, but I think it's just a little different. We feel more shot in the gut because he's still here and he's still writing great books. So Stephen King is a product of his time, and he has written horrible things that I'm sure he regrets. I'm sure I've said, and I know I have said and written things that I would not say or write today, and we move on and we grow, and hopefully collectively we rise up. And it's still hard to read though, and still it was just distracting. I couldn't get over it. It was distracting. But let's wrap this up. I think I'm gonna give this book a 3.5. And if it wasn't for the stuff we're talking about now, I think it would have been a 5. And maybe that's harsh, but it took me out of the story and it was hard to get back in. But on the positives, it was good. It was scary. I think he did such a good job at portraying an alcoholic. It was so accurate, and the anger in Jack Torrance and his cravings just felt very real. And I still would definitely recommend this read. It was great. And we rewatched the movie, and fantastic. I said I had watched it before but didn't really remember, but I remember Jack Nicholson being so creepy, and that actually helped my experience reading the book because I just pictured Jack Nicholson's creepy. I mean, he doesn't have a creepy face. I mean, I guess that's debatable, but you know, in the movie he was creepy, and I just kept picturing that, and that scared me even more. And I really loved the movie. I read a few interviews of Stephen King talking about the Shining adaptation before I watched it, and I guess he really does not like it at all. And he doesn't like all the changes that were made, and so I was really trying to pay attention, and the movie did make quite a lot of changes. And I prefer the storyline of the book more. I understand why Stephen King is perturbed, but that wouldn't have been adaptable to a movie. You wouldn't have been able to get all of that into a 2-hour film. And I think, I forget the guy's name who did the movie, who's quite famous, but I think he did such a good job. I loved it. There's just the scenes of Danny in the trike. He has a little tricycle that he rides around the hotel, and the sounds were so cool as the trike was on the ground and going over rugs and then the wooden floor and just all the different sounds and the camera following him behind. And it was just so creepy, still racist, so good. And man, I still recommend the book over the movie, but if you don't want to give 10 hours of your life away, I would definitely pick up the film. So yeah, really good. 3.5 stars is still really good. And I'd love to know in the comments, have you read The Shining? Have you seen the movie? What were your thoughts? Did the racial stuff stick out? And in all honesty, if I would have read this book 10 years ago, I hate to say this, but I don't think I would have had the reaction that I have today. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I just feel like we as a society are doing better. We need to do better at doing better. I think that the racial stuff in this book has shown us how far we've come, and it's not enough, but I guess I'm just trying to see the positive side to it. So, yay. Love this time of year. I had such a fun time at the cabin, and I hope you enjoyed this little reading vlog. I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye, guys.